Hey guys, welcome to the official video one of the Goal30 how to series. This one is going to talk about identifying your goal. And so by the end of this video, what we want to make sure that you have is identified one or maybe narrowed down to 1 to 3 ideas of what you might want to work on during Goal30. So before I start, I just wanted to revisit these 6 keys to accomplishment. I will talk through 4 of them today, and I will talk about the other 2 in the remaining 2 videos. So the first 4 are self-awareness, mindset, values, and planning. So let's get started. And just as a little preview, we'll talk about structure in video 2 and then accountability in video 3. Okay, now let's get started. All right. So when it comes to self awareness, I always say that whenever you want to create a goal, you first need to have the self awareness and know what is it that you're experiencing right now. And so what you see on the screen is what I call my wheel of life. These are 8 different areas of life. They all intertwine. They're all a part of us and something that we do. And we can have goals in all of these areas, most likely simultaneously. So you may have family goals and relationship goals and friendship goals and personal development goals and career goals, money goals. All of those things are happening. And I must have missed health and wellness as well. So as you're looking at this, we know that these are all components of our lives, and we're always trying to either maintain or grow in these areas. So, as you're trying to cultivate some self awareness, I want you to think about, as you look through these 8 areas, is there anything that you feel is needing a little TLC, right? Because you don't necessarily think about these things all the time and compartmentalize your life in these different things. You may already know without looking at the wheel, like, oh, I'm really not feeling great about my career, or I'm really struggling with social relationships right now, or I'm just not having a lot of fun. So use that as a guide, but just make sure that you take a look and take stock in all the other areas to just make sure that that's an area that you may want to pay a little bit of attention to during the course of this Goal30 run. Now, the important thing that I want you to think about is I want you to assess your calendar as well when it comes to self awareness. And when I say that, I'm meaning when we start working on Goal30, which will be August 12th, right? We'll have our kickoff party on the 8th, but we'll officially start taking action on the following Monday. And think about from August 12th to day 30, which is September 10th. What types of things might be happening on your calendar? So, for example, for me, I'm a parent and I know that my kids are going back to school around day 10. So, there's going to be a huge shift in routines. I know that that's going to be something that I'm going to have to take into account. I also know that there's going to be Labor Day. Some of you may have some travel plans or some holiday plans, or you still might be carrying on some socialization for this last few weeks of summer before school starts, while the weather's still good. So you really want to take stock of how much bandwidth you have to work on something, because that will impact the goal that you should choose. So as you're figuring out what you've got going on your in your calendar over the next 30 days and what area you want to work on, make sure you write some notes down and think about, here's where I am, because once you understand where you're at, this will help you determine where you want to go. The second thing that I want to talk about is mindset. Now, if you want to come into this being like, I don't know if I can do this, and if I can't, if I just don't do it, then I just won't. That type of thought process where you're not necessarily all into the process or not willing to commit is going to set yourself up for a harder hill to climb when it comes to achieving that success. So I want you to come into this knowing that you can do it. If you have any fear, it's okay. But if you want to step beyond that, make that commitment to say, like, I'm ready to bust through whatever fears I might have. I'm ready to embrace what comes as part of this process and take the support that I'm going to need just in case I run into issues, because I'm going to commit to these 30 days. I want you to have that commitment and mindset that you can do this thing for 30 days. whether or not you're successful in your mind, if you can commit yourself to taking action for 30 days on whatever that is, I promise you, you will feel so much better than you did at the start or as you feel right now. So make sure you're coming in with this mindset of, I can do this, I will do this, I will commit to it, no matter how the journey ends up looking. Okay. All right. The third thing that I want to mention is values. Not a lot of people talk about this idea of values, and let me tell you what they are. So, by the dictionary, values are individual beliefs that motivate people to act one way or another. So, these are specific guides. This is what I like to say. The values serve as your compass. If you know what drives you, it is easier to figure out what direction to go. And because it serves as your compass, it helps you with decision making. I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time in indecision. And when I find myself in that place, I think about my four core values. One is fun, second is connection, third is accomplishment, fourth is authenticity, in no particular order. But if I'm having trouble trying to make decisions, I run it through those filters. Is it fun? If yes, let me do it. Does it help me feel accomplished? If it does, let me do it. Does it help? Is there a component of connection? Just like Goal30. Yes, I'll absolutely do it. And does it allow me to take action in my authentic self? Do I feel like I'm doing this because I want to and it honors me and not just all the things that I feel like I should be doing? Yes, that's how I decide on how to take action. So if you know your values, you can use those as a guide to take action and you will actually feel more fulfilled. Okay. So here are some things to consider when it comes to values. If you're really confused about how to move forward with this and you're not really sure what your values are, just send me a note and I will absolutely help you think about different ways that you can identify your values and use this as a compass to decide what your goal is. And then also as you're creating the action steps for the goal, which we'll talk about in a later video. But here are some things to consider. Number one, first and foremost, know what your values are. These can be tangible things like family could be a value, or can be non tangible things such as the feeling of accomplishment or curiosity or things like that. Second, think about what lights you up. And at the same time, think about what triggers you, because what lights you up is showing that you're having a value that is being honored, and you can identify that value that way. If you also, on the flip side, think about things that trigger you, that can be a value that's being ignored. So these are great ways to help you identify what's important to you. Like I know that communication is super important to me. It might not be one of my core values, but if I can't communicate with somebody, I feel very stressed and triggered. And so I just know that. So think about the things that light you up and trigger you. That'll help you identify your values. You also want to think about what's important for you to do right now. So in terms of your values, what is time sensitive? I know that in this coming month, my kids are always a top priority and value for me. And so I know that whether or not my Goal30 involves them, that's going to be something that's super important that I need to uphold. And whatever I choose for Goal30 has to work around that. So just think about what is important for you to do right now. And finally, I want you to choose a Goal30 goal that is a current priority and honors one or more of your core values. So, as I was saying, think about what's happening right now. What would be the best use of your time and be the most bang for your buck, the most impactful for you by the end of the 30 days? So, that's mid September, to feel the best that you can feel. All right. And finally, I wanted to talk a little bit about the planning piece. This is where we identify what is it that you want to work on for this Goal30 set, the next 30 days. Okay. I want you by the end of this video to have at least narrowed down to one or two ideas based on everything that we've discussed so far. But as you're trying to nail this down, think about the end goal. Again, think about September 10th. What does September 10th look like for you? What is it that you want to happen? For me, I know that I'm getting ready to be running our ASC annual planning retreats right after Goal 30 is over. So one thing that's super important to me is making sure that we are ready to go for those retreats. So that's something. Do I want to choose that as my Goal 30? I'm not quite sure, but I know that I want to feel ready, and I don't want to be overwhelmed and exhausted going into that. You also want to make sure that you can answer the question, why is this the right goal to work on now? So one of the things that I was thinking about is that because the annual planning retreats are coming up and I'm going to start thinking about 2025. Is there anything, and this is specifically to those of you who have been to the retreat in the last year and know what your plan is there anything in your plan that you want to work on before we start planning for 2025 again? Is there anything that could be super impactful and impact how you plan next year? So think about that answer to that why. Why is this the right thing to work on right now? Because we can work on a whole bunch of things, but is it going to serve you in the best way by doing this goal that you choose right now? Yes. So does it address your pain points? Is it a goal that you want to achieve? You want to work on something that you want to do, not something that is being pressured from externally to do. You really want to make sure that it is intrinsic. Is that the word? Intrinsically motivated, motivating to you. And how does the progress or completion of the goal directly impact you in a positive way? I really want you to think about making sure that you are at the root of the success of this goal. Again, not thinking about how this might support other people, unless that's going to also support you in the end. But you want to always put yourself first and foremost, and in this type of challenge. All right. And this was something that I said I was going to repeat over and over again. But when it comes to planning, please try to keep things simple. I have, in previous goal 30s, made the mistake of making things too complicated. And sometimes I kept it super simple and then somehow it evolved into something complicated. And what's great about this is if you end up doing that, there's always an opportunity to refine the goal to keep you moving forward instead of stopping completely. So I want to make sure, but if you can try to make that goal super simple now, it probably may even have aspects that are going to become complicated. So we can support you in making sure that something that you do is super, super simple because we want you to set up for success. Okay. We want you to win. Remember, I said that in the intro video. We want you to absolutely win. So, with that said, I'm going to end this video. We've talked about goal setting. Again, at the end of this video, I really want you to think about what is it that you think you want to work on for Goal 30. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to set parameters on how you're going to take action in Goal 30 during Goal 30. And then in the next or the final video, I'm going to talk about Goal 30 and how your goal will be implemented among the Goal 30 format and what we expect of you to participate and the things that we put in place to set you up for success during the 30 days. So I will see you in the next video. I just want to give you one last reminder before I sign off. Thursday, August 8th is our kickoff party. Monday, August 12th is day one. Day 30 ends on September 10th, and September 12th, we celebrate how awesome we did. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.